It's been more than a month since the fiercest storm on record ripped across the Philippines. The death toll stands at 6,000 and climbing, and another 1,900 people are still missing. Aid poured in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, with about $32 million coming from the United States. But international help is starting to taper off, making volunteers like the ones who returned home to Boston last weekend all the more valuable. While most of us took time off to enjoy Thanksgiving, 7 doctors, nurses, and pharmacists from Massachusetts General Hospital were 9,000 miles away from home in the typhoon-ravaged Philippines. Over the course of 3 weeks, the team treated 3,000 patients, from the very young to the elderly, working 18-hour days in extreme heat. And while they could only help a fraction of the 12 million people impacted by Typhoon Haiyan, they hope their presence served as a reminder that the rest of the world has not forgotten them. The MGH trip to the Philippines was organized by Dr. Miriam Ashkenazi. She's the Deputy Director of Mass General's Disaster Response Team and has led humanitarian trips to places like Haiti, Darfur, Cambodia. Also joining us tonight is Carmela Berlin, a Mass General pharmacist who was born in the Philippines. Well, you have been everywhere. Tell me, Miriam, what was this like compared to, say, Haiti? Was it similar?
It was really a polar opposite experience. When you go someplace like Haiti, there are no existing structures for you to work in. If you need a structure, you have to bring it or build it. And when we responded in the Philippines, the government was really already on top of what was happening, and we were backfilling. They were really overwhelmed by the size of the disaster, but they had the structures in place. They knew exactly what needed to be done. It just had to be done. So it was a very refreshing experience.
Carmela, were you in one place? Did they have you traveling around, or did people come to you? How did that work?
We had been in one place. First of all, we started in Cebu, but then once they found out where we should be going, we stayed in Rojas, which is in the Panay Island, and we went to little villages around the area that would be from around 30 minutes to about 2 hours by
So you
car.
went to them?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me some of the cases. Tell me some of the stories of the people you met and some of the injuries that you had to treat.
I think there was a lot of psychosocial trauma. I mean, if you can imagine being in your house when the roof blows off. And these are little houses. And I had one woman, she was about 80 years old. The roof blew off her house and the wind nearly carried her away with it. She had to hang on to a pole that was outside her house to keep from being blown away. And that really impacts you. Now you're after the trauma, you're dealing with that, and you still don't have a roof. You don't have anything that was in that house, it's gone. The thing that you used to make your living, your boat, your fishing net, your rice plantation, it's destroyed. And I think it's really very traumatic mentally for people to have to recover from that. And we went to some islands where there wasn't a single building that hadn't been damaged or had a roof on it.
Well, what was the most immediate need? Was it food and water, or had the government, as Miriam said, already taken care of that? What were the most immediate needs?
Shelter was very immediate. Like Miriam said, none of them had roofs, and the shelter cluster were there and gave them tarps, but we would still hear it from people that that the food were scarce. As soon as they gave them food, it's the worry about what's going to happen after a few days when the food's gone. Their crops have been destroyed, and so those are the most worries that the people had.
Now, do you still have family there? You're from there? Did you see people that you knew there?
I still have family there, but not in the island where we went to. The island that I lived in was south of where it was affected, so they weren't affected as much.
Were you impressed, as Miriam seems to be, with how the government had handled it?
Yeah, I'm very impressed. And they were very organized in terms of what is needed to be done. Mm-hmm. They had it pretty much laid out for us. Did
they have the resources, or did they need the deployment of, like, we sent a couple of ships, some other countries helped out, China sent $100,000. But
I think that there's no country that would have those resources on hand without the help of the global community. And if you're replacing houses for an entire island.
Were they building them while you were there?
Bamboo.
Yeah.
Bamboo.
Yes.
Are they going to blow down again?
Yes.
Yes.
And this is where you see the effects of poverty and disaster and poverty. People who live in poverty are much more affected by disasters than those who don't. The rice plantation owners, they have cement houses. They maybe lost a roof. But if you had a bamboo house because you couldn't afford a cement house, you lost your entire house. The flip side of that is you don't have the money to build a cement house. You literally take the same broken down, fallen bamboo, clean it off, and rebuild your bamboo house. So I think we can even see that if you look at the United States, at Katrina and Rita, those that were impoverished were really exponentially affected by the disaster than those that could afford to evacuate. So we see those same lessons in every humanitarian response that we work at.
How does this affect you two as Americans going there, and this is a country of riches? I mean, what's it like when you're from there, or you had family there? What's it like?
I certainly feel blessed for what I have right now, but at the same time, I feel for them. I have grown up with seeing this poverty, and just to have pretty much all they have kind of taken away from them, it just breaks my heart.
And you've got a couple of young kids too.
Yes.
Did they ask about it? Were they curious?
We showed pictures to my older son, not to my younger daughter, but we talked about how important it is that sometimes what you want is secondary to what somebody else needs. And so I wanted to be home for Thanksgiving, but I needed to be out and working, responding to this emergency because the needs were greater than my personal want.
Is it under control? Are you going to have to go back?
We are still, Mass General Hospital Center for Global Health is still working with NGOs to send teams out. So we have a team out now. We have a team going out again on Thursday when the team comes back. So we're still rotating through teams.
Do you plan to go back anytime soon?
I can't quite yet.
Yeah.
No, I have a couple of kids as well at home. I have a 2.5 and a 9-year-old. And my husband, I think, needs a little help.
Yeah, I can understand. All right, Carmela Berlin, Miriam Eskin, I say thanks you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.